Hello, Anthony Chris. First of all, I would like you to introduce yourself to
Of
the
course.
audience.
My name is Christopher Barris. I'm a U.S. Trial attorney. I'm based in Phnom Penh, Cambodia now. I'm a former prosecutor and government defense attorney from the United States. I've tried hundreds of civil and criminal cases in the U.S. courts.
Attorney Chris, what procedure does a U.S. court follow when a tort claim is made against a foreign citizen?
A case in the United States is initiated by the filing of a complaint, which contains allegations, solely allegations. No facts need to support it at the filing stage of the complaint. The first thing that the court in the United States has to determine is whether it has jurisdiction over the person named as the defendant in the complaint. Here, the defendant is General Manette, a Cambodian citizen. What jurisdiction means is authority. Does the court have the authority to compel a foreign citizen, again in this case General Manette, into its court to participate in litigation? Right now, the issue before the court is jurisdiction, and the court has yet to decide that issue. Last week, or rather 2 weeks ago, the plaintiff's attorney, Morton Sklar, Mr. Sklar, went to court. He asked the judge for help, essentially. It's the plaintiff's burden to establish jurisdiction. Mr. Sklar essentially went to the court and he told the judge, I don't have enough facts at this point to show the court that it has jurisdiction or authority to compel General Manette into this courtroom. And he asked the court for more time, essentially help in trying to gain those facts to do so.
What is the procedural status of the case that involving with General Manette?
Right. Well, again, at this point, a complaint has been filed against General Manette, naming him as the defendant in this litigation. General Manette took the proper measure, and he filed a motion with the court to dismiss the case for lack of jurisdiction, which is really it's the threshold issue, and it's really the only issue that is in front of the judge at present to decide. I already told you that Mr. Sklar, the plaintiff's attorney, went to the court, talked to the judge on September 1st, and he, I'm paraphrasing this, but this is exactly what happened. He said, I don't have enough facts, Judge, to support jurisdiction. I can't show you that you have jurisdiction now based on what I have. He has no facts now. He has not presented any facts regarding the jurisdictional issue, and he's asked the judge to help him. How? By giving him more time to investigate, to discover these purported facts. Purported facts, maybe they exist, maybe they don't. I think they exist in his own mind.
Isn't American court always accepting all cases?
Well, I think the public has to understand that, again, when a complaint is filed, it need not contain a factual basis. It's very easy to file a complaint in federal or state court in the United States. It's simply allegations. They go to the clerk of the court who registers the complaint. There's no review of the factual basis. The judge is not involved at that point. The factual basis needs to be established, but that comes way far down in the procedural posture of this case. We're not anywhere near that point yet.
So what do you think if American attorney involving in political issue?
Well, any U.S. citizen, attorney or not, can have political views. the courtroom is not the best place to air those views. I think, when you're making public statements, for example, about what's happened in the courtroom, a court ruling, for example, or the procedural posture, status of a case, I think the attorney needs to stick to the facts, not misrepresent what was said or done in court, not misrepresent the procedural status of the case to the public. And I think private political views should be kept out of the process entirely. Sure, I don't know his involvement, of course. I just look at some of the statements that he's made, and he seems to be quite politically motivated in this prosecution. And he is essentially the prosecutor here because he did make the complaint on behalf of the plaintiff. Okay. Again, I think that has no place in the courtroom, and he should restrict his comments to what really happens in court. And I think that the U.S. judge would probably agree with me in that opinion.
I heard that the plaintiff, Anthony, was quoted recently, which is said that the result of this order is that it will open the door to securing important information, disclosure from the Hun Sen government that has not been available before. So what do you think about this?
Well, I think it's a misleading statement from the attorney. Number one, the Cambodian government is not involved in this case. They're not a party to the case that's going on now in California. They haven't been served process. They're a foreign sovereign. They have nothing to do with the issue that's before the court now, and that's simply jurisdiction. And that does not involve the government of Cambodia. It involves General Manette making a simple declaration that he has no physical assets like a house, a bank account, something of that nature in California, which covers the jurisdiction of this court.
The same thing that the plaintiff, Anthony, told the Radio Free Asia that the order paved the way for the Cambodian government to either cooperate with the court or automatically lose the case.
Well, again, the Cambodian government is not a party to the case. It's not a defendant. It's not the Cambodian government itself is not before the court, and the Cambodian government cannot be compelled to cooperate with the court for that reason, and for many other reasons.
Yes.
Number one is sovereignty. You're a sovereign state. You have no obligation. You cannot be compelled to participate in a litigation of this nature.
But some others said that the police in California have opened a case into the allegation that the General Human bodyguard attacked the process, served the Polhe as he attempted to hand the court document to the Prime Minister's son, General Humanet, outside a Long Beach restaurant in April, 2016.
Okay.
So this opened a case or what?
There is no open criminal case against General Manette or anyone that may have been with him that night, his entourage, whether it was a bodyguard or a friend, an invited person at the event. There is no open criminal case. No one has been charged with a crime. I think, I believe at the time of the incident, back in April 2016, that the police were called. They did what's called an incident report, which means they took statements from the process server in this case. I don't know who else they may have talked to, but the process server, if this was to be considered a criminal case, the process server is the victim, and the victim would have to be able to identify his attacker. From the reports I read, and again, I wasn't there, and I'm reading reports and statements from the process server himself. I saw him on YouTube, if you will. He was on YouTube moments after this alleged attack upon him, and he said that he was attacked from behind. So what does that tell you? He was unable to see who his attacker was, correct? He attributed the attack to men in black. I think there were a lot of people wearing more or less formal attire, suits, maybe black, blue suits. And then he's also attributed the attack to bodyguards of General Minette. But there's no factual basis to support it. If there was, the police most likely would have made an arrest right at that time, at that date. If he could have identified his attacker as, if he could have identified his attacker, whoever it might have been, if this really happened the way he says, the police would have made an arrest right then and there at the time.
Yes, thank you very much.